Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because, well, we're embarking on a pretty fascinating journey. Think about the last time you used your phone to find a coffee shop, or maybe checked a weather map to plan your weekend. None of that, literally none of it, would be possible without the incredible, kind of hidden professionals we're focusing on today. In this explainer, we're going to act as map makers ourselves, charting out the exact career journey of a cartographer. If you're someone who loves a structured path and wants to know exactly how to turn a passion for geography and design into a lifelong career, you are in the exact right place.
All right, let's dive right into our source material. What I absolutely love about this is that it doesn't just dish out vague advice, It gives us a highly practical, step-by-step roadmap for anyone interested in this vital profession. We're talking everything from the personality traits you need, right down to the exact courses and fees you should expect. It's basically a map to becoming a map maker.
Okay, here is the legend for our map today. First, we'll look at the traits of a cartographer. Second, charting your educational pathway. Third, navigating fees and funding. Fourth, the top institutes in India. And finally, working life and income.
Section 1. Traits of a cartographer. Do you have what it takes?
Before we get into schools or salaries, I want you to take a second and reflect on your own natural tendencies. Does your brain naturally align with the demands of this field? Let's find out by establishing what a cartographer actually does. Well, it's a professional who collects, measures, and interprets geographic information to create and update maps and charts, stuff used for regional planning, education, the whole shebang. They are the crucial link between raw, chaotic geographic data and the clean, usable maps we rely on every single day. You aren't just drawing pictures here, you are literally interpreting the world.
So I've got to ask you directly, do you pay a crazy amount of attention to details? It sounds like a simple question, but in cartography, it is everything. I mean, think about it. A single misplaced line, a slightly off scale, or a mislabeled zone on a map for regional planning, that can change everything. It could redirect a whole highway or alter a zoning law. The stakes for accuracy are incredibly high.
And what's really interesting here is that cartography requires this beautifully balanced brain. You got to be able to think logically and have strong analytical skills to process complex geographic data. But you also need really good communication skills. Why? Because the entire point of a map is to communicate complex spatial data simply and effectively to the person using it. If you can analyze the data perfectly but can't communicate it visually, well, the map fails.
Moving on to Section 2, charting your educational pathway. The steps to your career.
So how exactly do you get from a high school student to a professional cartographer? It's all about starting with the right foundation. Step 1 is completing your 10+2 with geography as one of your subjects. Then, for Step 2, you've got a few really excellent options. You can go for a bachelor's degree in cartography, geography, or geomatics. Alternatively, you could grab a diploma in Geographic Information Systems, that's GIS. And GIS is massive right now, by the way. It's the computer system cartographers use to store and analyze all that collected data. A third option is getting a bachelor's degree followed by a master's in a related field. So it's a very clear, sequential pathway.
I really love this quote because it humanizes all that educational data we just looked at. Dr. R. Jagannathan, the professor and head of the Department of Geography at the University of Madras, notes that cartography is an interesting career because it is a true blend of art, science, and technology. And honestly, Dr. Jagannathan's own impressive pathway, going from a BA in geography to an MSc, a PG diploma, and finally a PhD in earth science, it just proves that this academic journey is real, highly structured, and deeply rewarding. He points out that students learn cartographic grammar and do heavy laboratory work to gain those high-level digital mapping skills. All right, Section 3, navigating fees and funding, financing your mapping journey. Let's navigate the financial side of things, which, let's be real, is usually the biggest hurdle and source of stress for students planning their future. The expected course fee range is massive, anywhere between 3,000 and 1.5 million Indian rupees. That is a huge spectrum, right? The reason for this drastic variation is that fees depend entirely on the specific institute you choose. Are you going to a government university, a private college, or doing a distance learning program? But hey, don't let the higher end of that spectrum freak you out.
Listen, a lack of immediate funds does not have to stop your journey. Our source details some really fantastic financial lifelines. You can check out the National Scholarship Portal for central government, UGC, AICTE, and state schemes. Plus, a ton of institutes offer their own merit-based scholarships. If you need a loan, there's the Vidya Lakshmi Portal, which was actually developed under government guidance to help track education loans. And it doesn't stop there. States like West Bengal, Odisha, and Bihar offer student credit cards with low interest rates, and obviously standard bank education loans are widely available too. The point is, you have options for sure.
Next up, Section 4, Top Institutes in India. Where will you study? Think of this step as choosing the right vessel for your educational voyage. Where exactly are you going to acquire these vital skills? Generally, these courses are offered by departments of geography and geoinformatics, and the source gives us a fantastic indicative list across India. For government institutes, you've got excellent options like Jamia Millia Islamia in New Delhi, Osmania University in Hyderabad, and Annamala University in Chennai. If you're leaning towards private institutes, places like BITS Mesra or Amity University are listed. Just remember, always check for UGC and AICTE accreditation before you apply. And for anyone needing flexible distance learning, IGNU, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, is a phenomenal option.
Finally, Section 5, Working Life and Income, Your Destination and Growth.
All right, time to build some excitement because we have finally arrived at the destination of our map. What does the actual day-to-day career look like? Let's check out the work environment. Your potential employers are vast. You could be at engineering, architectural or survey firms, government departments, or even book publishers who produce maps. It's a rigorous but structured environment. You're looking at 8 to 9 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. But what I really want to highlight is a fantastic note from our source material. Opportunities absolutely exist for differently abled individuals in this field. It's an inclusive profession that focuses heavily on digital skills and analytical prowess.
And this pathway offers some very tangible financial growth. Looking at expected income based on National Career Service data, the starting salary of a cartographer ranges between 29,000 and 30,000 rupees per month. But as you hone your craft and move from a beginner to a seasoned mapping expert, say with 6 to 10 years of experience, that range jumps significantly. You're looking at between 43,000 and 44,000 rupees per month. It's a career that financially rewards you as you grow.
So how do you actually get to that higher salary? It's a surprisingly simple, linear, expected growth path. You begin as an intern, learning the ropes, applying your classroom knowledge to real-world data. From there, you step into the role of a full cartographer. And eventually, you step up into management and complex project oversight as a senior cartographer. Always remember, every single expert senior cartographer out there today started exactly where you might be right now.
When you look at this entire roadmap altogether, notice how practical and actionable it is. We haven't just been talking about abstract concepts today. We've looked at the specific traits you need, the exact educational requirements, the financial tools at your disposal, the physical universities you can attend, and the real-world offices you could one day work in. It is a complete, totally navigable journey.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. I want to leave you with this final thought. Knowing the exact coordinates for success, are you ready to map out your own future as a cartographer? You have the tools, you have the legend, and you have the roadmap. The only thing left to do is take that very first step. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I will see you in the next explainer.